Hello and welcome to a review of first ranked multiplayer game. And let's waste no time. I'm gonna start with players' introduction and what they did in the game. So we had Spotgun playing USA in the very first war against Mexico. He did quite well, but then he made a major mistake getting about a truce with Mexico, so he declared war on them and lost some prestige, which is quite a big hit for him in the beginning. He even dropped from great power status, but as you can see, he is now back on a way and ranked 4. Guren playing Brazil in South America, doing great actually. As you can see, he is already great power, and let's check. Okay, Brazil has 6.2 million, but that's because he has a Chinese territory. I think it was Russia and France helping Guren get it. So of course that is Brazil, getting some decent population from immigrations. And let's actually, if I unpause the game, things will go completely insane, so let's just leave it like this. But he had almost more immigrants than USA actually, which is quite interesting. So moving back to Asia, we had Hirohito playing Japan. However, he didn't play from the very beginning because he had some computer issues and it took some time till he solved, so he joined on the secondary host, I think. That was like 4 or maybe 5 years in the game. He managed to westernize, and as you can see, it's 1857 westernized Japan. Quite decent job. He didn't invade Korea because Korea was already in UK sphere, but he took Borneo. From the Japan's point of view, it might not be that bad idea to get Borneo, because then your literacy rate will remain very high, which means you will have more research points later on. So of course there is Brazilian China, and by the way, we have rule that no superpowers, great powers, superpowers and great powers can't take anything from China, and then other countries, like smaller countries, can take only one province from China. If you're interested, you can check a bit more about it on the forum. So anyway, I took province from Dainam. That was actually, I think, the first war I started, taking Cochin China from Dainam, and I'm probably going to expand on Nanam. Indonesia is completely controlled by Dutch. And then we had, of course, Britain controlling Burma. Actually, as you can see, Britain is really trying to get as much points as they can by preventing others from getting stuff. That is actually what he is doing. As you can see, Burma is under their sphere, Siam, and then Korea. So Japan and I can't really invade those guys without fighting Britain, which of course we are not in a position to do so. Then of Punjab being played by Hedon, managing to make a small empire in Asia, and doing quite decently, I guess. Took, what is it, Makran, I think? Yeah, it's Makran. So he took that province. I don't really agree that this was the best province he could take, but you know, he wanted one more port, so I guess it's kinda a decent choice. Unfortunately, again, he can't expand on other Indian provinces because of the UK, so it's quite landlocked. The only one he can attack is actually Kalat, because Afghanistan and Persia are in Russian sphere, of course. I mean, theoretically he could deal with Persia if Russia is occupied fighting some other wars, but you know, quite a risky plan. And then let's move to Africa. Of course, there is split by Spain. This is Russia, France, and Piedmont. As you can see, they took Tunis, parts of Morocco, Spanish Algeria, and then we've got Sokoto being split by Holland or Netherlands, France, and NGF. In the south, nothing really changed. Portuguese Africa and British Africa remain untouched. And then Japan took province in Madagascar. That was actually misclicked by Marconi. He thought Japan was offering white peace, and he lost the province for nothing actually. Then Piedmont actually managed to grab 2 provinces from Oman, making a decent strategical point for later expansion. I took province from Ethiopia and 2 more from Oman, making few more naval bases. Unfortunately, something I really didn't like because, well, I'll move on, but I didn't like Egypt being first sphered by Russia, because Russia is really not the best great power to get tech for Suez Canal, and then the UK at some point took over it, which is something I don't like, because UK will probably be our greatest enemy in this game. Well, you know, not enemy but competitor, because they will try to colonize something, and whoever controls Suez means that they can move their fleet from Europe to Asia, which is something I really need if I'm to do anything good here. I mean, you would lose a lot of time sailing over Africa around it, and that's something I really don't want. And now we had a very complicated situation in Europe. So Spain being played by, oh god, that nickname was brutal. I couldn't pronounce it. Kuchsason, something like that. I don't know. He joined a bit late, I think at the same time as Japan did, and Spain was in horrible shape. I'm not sure if the AI was controlling it. It probably was. So he managed to snipe a few colonies, and he will be able to colonize later on. But you know, he's still not in a good shape. He needs clergymen. He is really, you know, relying on the prestige and military score to keep him in the secondary power status, as obviously he dropped. Then we have France being played by Marconi. Nothing too serious really. Most of the game he spent researching and being scared of North German Federation. So we had UK being played by Lorfindel or Johnny, being major douchebag, blockading everyone, because there was basically that alliance, UK, France and Russia, and everyone was scared of fighting them. So, you know, if something was in Russian or UK sphere, you wouldn't really want to attack them, because then UK, or for example, would be able to call their powerful allies, and you know, no one fights UK, France and Russia. So that was quite annoying. North German Federation doing, I don't know, I think he could do much better. There was a huge tension between France and NGF, of course, and UK and Russia on French side, and then Netherlands, Austria and Spain on NGF side, although I don't know, I'm not sure that Spain will enter the war, if there is a war between NGF and France. I don't think Spain would enter it. And then Austria was really in worst position from all of the players, and they're really no spot to fight a war. Actually, at some point we had all of the major powers in Europe being mobilized and waiting for Germany to attack, but then NGF guy realized that, actually played by Christian realized that he didn't have casus belli on France for Alsace-Lorraine, because at that point he didn't have nationalism and imperialism, so he couldn't attack them. So the tension died out, and as you can see now, the focus is on Africa and Asia. But I think there will be for sure a war between France and Germany, or NGF, probably in the next session. And I'm not completely sure who is going to win that. Austria is not in position to help. I'm really not in position to help. I only have few troops. And then Spain is of course not in a position to help, so it would be basically NGF fighting France, UK and Russia alone. You know, in theory, he could do it, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see it. Then of course Sardinia being played by Superplex, I think. Austria being played by Jalzara. He's dealing with his own country quite well since he lost Slovakia. He's actually he managed to maintain great power spot and he's actually 7th. So the only problem is that he has a lot of crises going in his country, as you can see. But hopefully he can rely on the Greek and Albanian crisis is going first, you know, because there are major liberation movements there. So that is a saving grace for Austria. And then Russia expanding on Asia a bit. I expect him to take over Manchuria sometime soon. We'll see. And of course there is a war between Russia and Ottomans. Okay, so Russian-Ottoman War. Wallachia is released. Wallachia being played by Speedrunner. He had a quite peaceful and not really enjoyable time being puppet of Ottomans. We managed to make few factories there, so you know he should be fine once he managed to get his freedom, and once he gets it, he can form Romania, which can be quite powerful country actually. They have oil and they have some pretty nice resources. Also their population is quite fine. If he stays out of some major wars, he can become quite powerful in the late game. We'll see about that. Something I forgot to mention, Fusilier played Russia, and then I think that's pretty much it. All of the players are covered. Oh, of course, I forgot to mention, I took over Belgium in the very beginning of the game, which is, well, it's very essential for Netherlands to take over it, because if you don't have enough people of primary culture, so we only have 3 national focuses now. Hopefully we can get that up to 4. That's pretty much it. I would like to stay out of the war, but if NGF starts losing badly, I might have to intervene, although that will mean that I'll lose quite a lot, and we'll see.